Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Yay! Um, how have you been? Have you been good? Have you not been good? Well, if you've not been good, I hope this video makes you feel better. Don't know how, but maybe it can make you feel better. And today I'm doing something a tiny bit different. Not really. I'm still going to be talking about films. Um, but I'm going to be talking about films relating to a book because I've been reading, and if you're not reading, you should be reading because reading is actually really good. Um, but yeah, so the book I'm going to talk about is a Korean book that launched in 2022 in Korea and then 2023 here in the UK. Um, so you have 5 seconds to guess. We're doing welcome to the Hyunam-Dong Bookshop. Don't know if that's how you say it. Probably not. But horrible pronunciation once again. Um, and it's written by Hwang Boryum, which I also think that's not how you say it. Um, but anyway, I read this book. I finished it. I don't know if it was Monday. Um, Today is Thursday, by the way. When I'm recording this, it's Thursday. So I don't know. It was at this point this week. I think it was Monday. Um, but yeah, I finished it like very fast. It was like 4 days maybe that I finished it. I ate through it. It was amazing, and this is why I want to talk about it. And I actually, oh my god, for once wrote down some things so I could remember. Because when I do films, it's easier for me to remember things. Because don't know, I guess because I love films and I love books, but it's just harder for me to remember, like even the name of the characters and stuff. Well, anyway, what I want to say about this book is that it's like so easy to read. In the way the characters are structured and the chapters are structured in a way that is like you want to keep reading because it's so nice and cozy. It has like crazy cozy vibes. Um, if you ever read this book, try reading it like at some point in the evening where you can have like warm light. One thing about me, I hate cold light. I hate cold light. Warm light forever. Cold light is just so horrible, so hospital-like, so like horrible. I don't like it. So I was mostly reading this in the evenings with my warm light, and it was amazing. If you can have like a warm drink, something nice, it's very nice. It's like a very cozy book, and it talks about the name of the main character is Young Yu, and she is like in her early 40s. I want to say they never say exactly how old they are, but I think she's like in her early 40s, and she opens a bookshop, independent bookshop, in Hyunam-Dong, which is like a small neighborhood in Korea. Um, and she opens it, and she at the beginning she's like, this is going to last like 2 years because this is not a very well known neighborhood and it's like very far away. It's kind of difficult to reach this, but she wanted to open a bookshop. That was her dream, so she opens it. And after a year, she has to hire someone else to help her in because she also has like a small cafe in the bookshop. So it's like a bookshop where you can also drink coffee whilst you read and all that stuff. So like very good vibes. I wish I could go to that place. But she ends up hiring Seung Woo. I think that's how you say the name. Again, I'm sorry. And he's like in his late 20s, early 30s, I want to say. And he at the beginning he's like, well, I guess I'll ditch this job after 6 months. He's someone who he went to university all his life, like he did his best to get the best grades and to get a good job. But when it was time for him to get a job, he just get he just kept getting rejected for every job he applied to, and he was very frustrated that he just couldn't get a job, and he kind of feels like everything is useless. Like he feels like he wasted his whole entire life for nothing. Um, so anyway, he ends up like working in there, and at first, Jungju is like, I don't know if I can keep this bookshop for more than 2 years, so let's do like a temporary contract, and we'll see how that takes us. And Seung was like, yeah, like he doesn't say that to her, but like in his head, he's like, well, I don't think I'm going to like. Who wants to be don't know, barista for the rest of his life? Like it's fine. But he ends up enjoying the job a lot. He finds a lot of comfort in like focusing on doing coffee, and he ends up also like being very close to the people that provide them the coffee, and he ends up learning about a lot a lot about coffee. But it's not really about the coffee. Like it's not that he found that his calling in life was to be a barista. It's more about how he slowly accepted that he didn't have to become someone like super successful and own a company or whatever. He slowly realizes that having like a small life, a slow life, and he says like at various points in the book that he finds comfort and happiness in waking up every day and doing yoga, and then walking to the bookshop and making coffee, and making the customers happy, and trying to make like coffee that everyone liked, and reading books and watching movies in the evening, and all that stuff. Like it's like very maybe trivial stuff that maybe someone says like that's such a boring life, but it's actually not. Like he finds it beautiful, as well as like Jungju, which later on we find out in the book that she actually also worked in like a company, and she was married, and one day she just like stopped feeling fulfilled with that life, and she felt like it was not right for her to keep doing it, that she just didn't enjoy it anymore, so she got a divorce. And she moved away from everyone, and that's when she opened the bookshop where she found happiness. And even though it was her dream, um she recognizes that it's not like having your dream makes you happy. She is happy to have a bookshop, but it's not like, oh, I opened the bookshop now, this is everything I wanted in my life, and now I'm fully happy. That there's like hard stuff in following your dreams. That's also one of the things I like about the book, that they talk about that sometimes following your dreams is not the best you can do. Or even if you do it, you will realize that maybe it wasn't enough for you. Like you didn't you didn't feel the fulfillment you thought you would, which is something I relate a lot. It's the same with another character called Minchol, who's like I think he's like 18. Um, he says he finds like life boring. I guess he's not sad, but he's not happy. He just finds it boring, and he feels like he's done with his life at 18. That there's like nothing to it. That he doesn't enjoy anything in life. Um, and then slowly his mom forces him to go to the bookshop. And at first they were trying to make him read books, but he just like didn't want to do it. So he just spent his time there watching an old lady knit, and he then realized that like actually he also wanted like a slow life, and he didn't want to like be. It's not that he didn't want to be a member of society, but he didn't. He realized that like being called like a good man and like a hard worker wasn't everything in life, which is also a thing that in the book they talk a lot about that. Um, it's kind of, it's not like a full critique on like work, on like you shouldn't get a job, you should just be free and happy. It's more about how society looks at you if you don't have a proper job. Because even if they had a like someone that works as a barista, his mom was like, "When are you going to get a proper job? Like, why don't you keep trying to get into a company and stuff like that?" So it's kind of like the hierarchy of how they look at some jobs like something good and some others like something that doesn't make sense to do with your life. And all the characters in the book kind of end up realizing that it's not really about having a proper job, it's more about enjoying what you do, and it doesn't matter the opinion of other people, and if they don't think you're doing a good thing with your life, as long as you're being happy with it and you feel like you're not wasting your time, basically. Because even if you're like in a proper job, as they say, you can feel empty. um and I think that's what I liked about the book, is that they all find comfort and happiness in the small things. Like they talk about how opening the door and feeling the autumn breeze and looking at the sunset and like very small things that may like what makes that life beautiful and worth living. So yeah, I think this book was amazing, and I think I've read it in a very good point in my life where I can relate to all the characters. And I also like that it's not only focusing on at like one specific moment in life. Because like I said, there's like characters that are 40, 30, 18, 50. Like there's different people, and they show the struggles of all of them. And it never says like your struggles are not like as important because I am older and stuff. Like they take seriously every struggle, even if it sounds maybe silly or whatever. They take seriously everything, and I think that is really good. And you kind of can relate to every character, and you can understand them, and it also helps you to like. Well, it helped me to like be happy. It helped me to realize that I don't have to like follow society expectations, I guess, which is something that I thought I knew, but I guess you never fully like trust that you don't have to follow society expectations. But yeah, if you can read this book, it's amazing. And now let's talk about movies. Um, the book has like a author's note, and um, Fang Borium says that when she was writing the book, she didn't know like the overall plot. Well, actually, no. She knew like the overall plot and the overall vibe. She didn't knew exactly like each specific chapter. Like she kind of built the book with time. She didn't do much planning, but she knew she wanted it to feel nice, cozy, something that people would love reading without feeling stressed. It's not like an intellectual book, I guess. Anyway, she says that one of her inspirations was Little Forest, the film, which I'm guessing she's talking about the Korean film. And sadly, I actually haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Little Forest Korean, but I've seen the Japanese one, which I think is very similar. Um, which is Little Forest Winter Spring or Little Forest Summer Autumn, and it makes sense. It actually makes sense that she wanted that kind of vibe, because the films are like this woman who lives in the Japanese countryside, and she lives all by herself, um, and she like cooks and she finds comfort and happiness in just like harvesting her vegetables and her fruits and like doing everything by herself, and every now and then like going to the nearest city to buy her food, to doing groceries, and maybe every now and then also seeing um her neighbors that live nearby, and it's like a very slow life that maybe a lot of people will be like, she's not contributing to society, she's not being like, she's not using her life to do anything good. Um, but she's obviously happy doing what she's doing, and I think that is just like it's also the vibe that this book wants. And something else uh, that the book mentions, like in the actual book, not the author, but the book. In the book, they talk about Koreeda, which is a Japanese director, and I've actually seen three of his films, three or four, three of his films. I've seen Monster, which is a really sad film and definitely not the vibe. It is a very good film, but it's not the vibe of this book. It's not. Um, I've also seen Our Little Sister, and that's kind of more like the vibe. If you've seen any of Koreeda films, um, you know he writes about like families and different kinds of families and not very traditional Japanese families. Yes and no. It's like it's the Japanese traditions and values in different family shapes. Um, and in the book they talk about the film After the Storm, which I have seen it today. I saw it today for this video. Just tell me this is how much I put dedication into videos. I saw it today and I liked it. And it makes sense that they talk about that in the book because the film talks about Ryota, which is a man who he's also like in his 40s, something like that. He's getting used to the idea that he got a divorce with his wife and he has a son, and that slowly he's kind of drifting away from that. And he doesn't have like he's a writer, but he works like a kind of like a private detective, and he's also kind of a gambler, and he has kind of like a messy, honestly pathetic life. I was like, I'm not empathizing with you because you just have like a sad life and you're not doing anything about it, and you're a man, and that's boring. And why are you spying on your ex-wife, and why are you mad that she's getting with a good man when you weren't the man she wanted, and like she stayed with you despite like all the hardships, and when she finally decides to leave, you're like, let me change, and he didn't change anyway. But in a way he also said like how he never wanted to become like his dad because his dad was a gambler. His dad is dead now, by the way. And his mom also talks about like how the dad used to steal her money to go gambling, and that he never really did anything with his life. And now like Ryota is like that, and his son also feels being like him. Like Ryota's son tells his grandma like, yeah, I don't want to be like my dad. um so it's kind of like that was like a very interesting thing in the film, I think. And at the end the son asked Ryota like, are you the man you wanted to become, like when you were a child? Are you the man you thought you were going to be? And he says that he's not that man and it's not that easy, but that he finds like happiness in working towards a dream every day. And like that slowly he will become that man, and that he like that's where he finds the comfort in life, and that's like where he wants, and that's what he wants his life to be, basically. And I think that was good. I think that also like that fits the book. That fits the because something they discuss in the book as well is like, should I do something I'm good at, or should I do something that I enjoy? Um, and they say like some of the characters say like, well, I did something I enjoyed, that I thought like I loved, and then I ended up hating it, and kind of that killed my soul. So maybe you can find comfort in doing something that you're good at, and that's how you feel happiness. But also some of the characters were like, yeah, I did follow my dreams, and that's like what I do. Like maybe I find happiness and contentment in doing something I'm good at and being praised for that, but it didn't feel like the right thing to do to fulfill my life. So I follow my dream, and that's how I'm happy. So it's kind of like this. dichotomy. Is that the word? I don't know if that's how you use that word, but I think it's like a balance between doing what you dream to do or what you're good at, and also kind of like being in good terms with the fact that sometimes you will have to give up on your dream because you realize that it's not actually something that will make you happy. Um, and yeah, it just like gave me a lot of thoughts. It gave me a lot of thoughts. Um, Also, something else I wanted to say is that with the majority of the film, I read it with Wave to Earth in the background, the Korean band. Yes, is it kind of because it's a Korean book? Yes, but I think it fits the vibe. I think Wave to Earth has a very nice vibe, a very like chill, jazzy, lo-fi vibes, I guess. So if you read this book and you like Wave to Earth, you can do it on if well honestly with whatever music you like, but I think it needs to be like kind of like jazzy music. Um that's my recommendation. That's how I read it. Sometimes I just read it in silence, to be fair as well. Sometimes silence is fine. Sometimes silence is good enough. We need to appreciate silence. And I'm saying that to myself as well, 'cause sometimes I just can't be quiet, obviously, if I'm yapping here. But I think that's going to be it for the video. This is obviously something different because I'm talking about a book and not so much about a film. But I did try to relate it to films anyway, because that's all I can do in my life. All I can do in my life is talk about films. But I hope you enjoyed it. I am planning on making two more videos relating to films and books. And if you've read this book, let me know your opinion. And if you haven't read it, I think you should give it a chance. You should give it a chance. It's not that long. It's like 250 pages or something. And generally, it is so easy to read. It's very digestible, and it's just so cozy and harmonious. Is that also a word? I don't know. I feel like I'm just making up words in here. But anyway, I said anyway like three times already. Uh, well, yeah. Like, share, comment. Let me know if you want me to read more books. If you want me to make more reviews about books, I can do that. If I manage to read more books, obviously. And have a nice rest of your day, or yeah, whatever. Bye.